Oh, God, shut up. All right.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly. And joining me in quarantine from a safe social distance, as always, well, not as always, but you get the point, is Inquisitor Quiz. How you doing?
COVID.
And rounding out our triumvirate of awesome from a hermetically sealed chamber on the other side of the country is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, but I'm usually socially isolated, which is awesome. So I'm pretty normal. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I had that as my Discord whatever status for a while. This is shun society. I was doing that before it was cool. This is nothing new,
right?
All right, hipster.
And they're talking about low volume. All right, someone's got low volume here. Who is it? Is it me? Is it Jack? Is it Quiz? Is it both of them?
I blame others.
Satanic Cultist says you need to be louder.
I need to be. Wow, there's something I don't hear very often. Turn me up a little bit. Check. Okay, seems good.
You're pulling a Deadwing Dork there, getting really close to the microphone.
Yeah, but he's good at it.
Yeah,
he knows enough to. If you guys haven't watched Deadwing Dork, you should. He's hilarious. Far introduced him to me, and then I found out Quiz had already been watching him for a good long time, and yeah, Deadwing Dork's hilarious. Oh, Jacob Jet says hi from Eve's stream. Well, tell Eve's stream that we said hello. It's nice to hear from them. And I love this. You know what I didn't do yesterday, guys? Send out a tweet saying we were postponing today's show. Oops.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, well,
none of us did. We all dropped the ball.
You heard about the lack of a tweet, or you heard about the lack of a show?
Yes.
I also was told off in DMs.
I'll bite the bullet for this one, guys. Don't be harassing Jack and Polly. It was my fault. I started a brand new job yesterday, and it kicked my ass because it was a 12-hour shift. So I felt like death and didn't want to do much. Sorry.
No worries. He just needed a break, and from time to time a member of the Triumvirate asks for such, and it's fine. I mean, I've done it, Jack's done it, Quiz has done it. It's the way that it is. So yeah, but I forgot to say that we were postponing to today, but our awesome audience still showed up. Satanic Cultist, Angela is here, Absolute Zero's here, Becca's here, Jacob showed up for a hot minute. Evil One's here, of course. Yay! And Evolved Potato says that we need to chill ourselves because he's at work, and that's cool. That's cool. You do plenty.
Hey, man. Yeah. Make that cheddar, right?
Make that cheddar?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what the hip kids are saying, right?
Yeah, sure. And you totally sound like one of them too.
While they're stroking their weed rock between their fingers.
I just heard "Hello, fellow kids," and I kind of lost interest after that. I don't know what any of this says. I'm talking to the talkie stick.
That Harry Potter plastic wand you bought is not your friend. Stop calling it the talkie stick.
Whatever. When I hold it, people are supposed to respect me. It's the new conch.
So, you mean conch?
No, you didn't see the movie version, did you?
Did they say?
He says conch.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay,
I've heard it said both ways.
Have you?
Yep.
Kind of weird people you've been hanging around.
No.
Fat kids get rocks thrown at them.
Oh look, Cult of Krill's not here. Well, that's good. Wait a minute. Cult of Krill's the one who said it. Something's off here. Guys, it's been a weird week for comics.
It's been a weird week in general.
Well, that's true. It's not just for comics, but now is the time when I've actually been reading a fuck ton of comics because quarantine, right? And I found some new fun stuff. I don't know if my standards are getting lower in terms of what I'm willing to read, or if I'm just not being such a nose up in the air as to what qualifies to good. You ever question that about yourself in terms of what you're...
All the time.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Every time I find a Marvel book and I'm like, oh, that wasn't too bad. I'm like, wait a minute.
What's going on?
This is a trap.
Like, I remember reading comics back in the day and then seeing different, excuse me, things on the shelf when I was a kid, and I'm like, no, I'm not reading that. And now I'm like, I'm pointing at that stuff and saying, why can't they do stuff like this anymore? You know what I mean? You didn't know how good it was before the SJWs took over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, even 25 years ago, the average book on the shelf was better written than 90% of the trash now. So it was more entertaining. They were at least trying,
Right.
and I appreciate effort more than like this slack ass chick track stuff they're churning out.
And I had the fun experience of recorded this video with Sinatra, right? Like Sinatra says Sinatra.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then I didn't realize his schedule. Get this. Get this. You want to hear weird? The guy has a YouTube channel. Okay. And he puts videos out consistently at the same time.
That sounds like crazy talk.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Who does that?
I do that most of the time.
Well, it's some kind of
That sounds like crazy talk.
yeah. It like what is this? A path to success or something? I mean, come on. I yeah. Anyway, I screwed up. I didn't realize his production schedule, so I didn't get to finish editing it, my part of it, before I got it off to him. But anyway, part of the video had me running down to him a lot of the things that we end up talking about all the time. It's going to be like old news to you guys, but
Mhm.
it's like he had no idea about some of the things. And he was finding out about them in rapid fire fashion. Like Asian Hulk, that was a thing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, and so forth. Girl Hulk, all that stuff. And yeah. Yeah.
Well, She-Hulk has been a thing. I'm sure he's probably seen She-Hulk.
Yeah, but She-Hulk's been a thing for decades. Which point?
Well, you said Girl Hulk, yeah.
Did
You
I
meant
say
girl.
Girl Hulk? I meant Girl
Yeah.
Thor.
Oh, okay.
So quarantine's a thing, and my mind's melting. Don't worry about it. I could have sworn I said Girl Thor because that's what I was thinking, but I said Girl Hulk. Really?
Yeah, you did.
Send money.
I knew.
Polly's running out of proper medications. And I'm not even kidding either. I called up my pharmacy to renew a prescription, and they said, we don't have that. And I was like, oh, so are you getting it restocked soon? And they went, oh, we don't know. So I had to call around pharmacy to pharmacy to see. And it's like, I didn't realize that in my state, once you hand a prescription off to one pharmacy, it's not like you can shop it around. Do you know what I mean? Because you could get
Yeah.
like a prescription for opiates or something, like some oxycodone or something, and then shop it all over town, continually refilling the same prescription. So by law, you can't do that. So they've taken it and they're telling me, well, no, we can't fill it. And I'm like, well, so what do I do then? And they're like, well, you can call other pharmacies and see if they have it, and then have them call us and we'll fax them over the prescription. Like, fuck, kind of sounds like I'm doing your job for you a little bit here, but
Right? I'd just like to point this out though. Polydub for Joe Biden's running mate 2020. Two men with dementia.
Every girl I sniff asked. It's fine.
Yes, yeah.
Everyone says you didn't say that they were good videos. I don't watch good videos, and I don't make good videos. You're here. We're looking at it. What the hell? I wanted to talk about some of the things that I have been reading whilst down. Oh, I caught up on Amazing Mary Jane, which continues to impress me. How good of a comic it is, focused on Mary Jane Watson. You'd think it'd be crap, but it's actually very readable and enjoyable.
I've heard it's good, but that's the weird is isn't it written by a fucking raging social justice jerk?
I'm just saying, it's eminently readable.
Mm.
Well, some of them are going to end up having talent. They just have to tone down their nonsense and try. And I think it's about to get real competitive and cutthroat over at Marvel.
Right?
Because if this quarantine, 'cause, what the audience may not know is that the comics aren't being distributed right now. This Wednesday was the last day for the foreseeable future, until the quarantine's all lift. So there's a good possibility that people will get out of the habit of buying certain titles and then just never go back.
Right.
And they're starting to kind of come to that realization because you can see them freaking out a little bit on Twitter.
Yes, just a little bit. And there's no shortage of people like in and around comics that are critical of the current state of comics, that aren't
Yeah.
pointing that out. It's like, oh, so it's not going to last forever and you're not living in a golden time. Maybe you shouldn't have been a prick this whole time. But oh, you know what? That reminds me of a good place to start. Speaking of pricks, I'm going to share the screen so you guys can see it at the same time that I do. This is a story that exploded today, and Quiz says he hasn't really been up on stuff, and he's been 40K'ing and, working.
Gosh.
It's wish my job was considered essential. Actually, academics is considered essential, except they just they know you can do it remotely, so you don't get a pass. You know what I mean?
My job's not essential because I'm unemployed. Being a shiftless layabout is somehow not an essential position.
Where can I apply for that?
You don't. You just live in somebody else's house rent free and freeload off of them.
Okay.
Pretty awesome.
I'd rather be a gadabout than a layabout, but you don't really get to make those choices unless you get an inheritance. Am I right?
You take the position you get,
Right?
You apply for one. I applied to be a Kato Kalin and ended up more like a squatter. So
I'd love to be a Kato Kalin. Hey, let's go to McDonald's. Let's go to McDonald's, OJ. Wait, you killed your wife? What? I can still stay here though, right?
exactly.
I wish I was making that story up. That's
we all do, especially the Goldmans.
Oh, damn. Damn.
What, too soon?
It's
been what, 20 years?
It's been almost 30 years.
COVID. Excuse me. And too soon. You know what? My favorite part of that story is that OJ paid for the McDonald's that night because, of course, he did.
You're his alibi.
Do you think he was
better get a supersized fry with that?
You think he was using him as an alibi?
I think so. I think that was his effort.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Polly.
Okay, well, see, way back in the 90s, there was this football hero who also did some Hertz car commercials who murdered 2 people. Allegedly.
He was also in the Naked Gun trilogy.
I remember.
He was,
man,
yes.
My time growing up was crazy. All right, I remember being in elementary school watching live the Bronco chase, and then in high school watching the fucking plane hit the Twin Towers. This is nuts.
What?
It's never been like all these national controversies haven't been so fucking widely publicized.
It gets worse as you get older.
Yeah.
I love how Quiz just named 2 of the most memorable things that have like everyone remembers that Quiz. I was there when I remember where I was when Kennedy was killed. Yes, so does everyone else. Like what?
Well, but okay, so okay, you had the generation before us had what? Kennedy assassination and
Challenger always gets brought
Challenger,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Challenger live.
But aside from those 2, what did the generation before that have? Where they could sit there and say, well, I remember where I was when that happened.
Stock market crash.
Yeah.
Bombing of
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor. Yeah, okay. But like those weren't like televised live as they were happening.
Oh, and sadly, and I like all jokes aside, I mean sadly, hearing that the Beatles broke up.
Well, let's not forget the moon landing.
The moon landing. See, something that actually matters. Yeah.
But Polly, one of them is dead. But which one is it?
Of the Beatles?
Yes.
Oh yeah, they heard that the filthy commie caught a bullet where they were when John Lennon was shot. When they heard.
Well,
I thought you meant Paul McCartney.
I was referring to Paul McCartney being dead. Yes, in the infamous Batman cover that went into that.
What you mean when you play the record backwards, you hear Paul's dead?
No, there's a Batman cover that feeds into the conspiracy theory that Paul McCartney is dead
and has been dead for a while.
Yeah, there's a conspiracy theory that the current Paul McCartney, the person who's known as Paul McCartney, isn't actually Paul McCartney. He's a body double, and that the real Paul McCartney is dead.
I'm gonna look into that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, and there's a Batman cover about that.
Is there a Batman cover about Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
No,
Oh.
no, I
No,
don't
they
know.
don't talk about vampires much anymore.
Well, I mean, there was that one really, really great Justice League comic that was written by Chris Claremont about vampires.
Well, there was a cool Batman story back in 340 or 349 to 351, I think, where Batman actually becomes a vampire for a little bit. Like that 3-issue arc. It was a really cool story.
Oh,
He's on the
let's say here.
cover. I think I have that cover actually.
Let me share the screen here, Polly. This is the cover I'm talking about.
Hold on.
Here they come, but one of them is dead.
Hold on.
But
Hold
which
on. Hold
one?
on. I can't do
The
this
clue is
quickly.
on the album cover.
You're changing things too fast. Hold
sorry.
on. Hold on. Article capture? Is that it? Oh, it's all fucked up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
Comic capture? Why is comic capture even on? What the hell? What's
I don't
happening?
know.
Oh no.
So many things.
Here they come, but which one of them dead? Which one? The clue is on the cover, and Paul's turned around. Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, this a whole
There it is. Got it.
conspiracy
Okay,
theory.
there. Score.
Yeah, it's a whole conspiracy theory that that has been persisting since the Beatles were a thing. That Paul McCartney is dead.
What
And
year is this from?
Well, let's see here. It's 15 cents, so it's got to be in the
Oh,
maybe late 60s. Batman 222. When was that? It was June 1970.
huh.
So
Well,
yeah, so like I said, this is a whole conspiracy theory, and they actually published it in a Batman comic.
I'm gonna look into that. Why not? I got nothing else to do. Quarantine.
Yeah.
Okay, there. Comic capture. So let me move this back over. I'll tell you something, guys. If you're gonna update your OBS and you had like a fairly faint grasp on OBS to begin with, be cautious. Don't just update it and try and start a stream an hour later. Because that's what I did. And oh my god. It reset all my captures, and I had to recreate all the scenes from scratch. Not that they're hyper complex or anything. It was just a fuck ton of work. Always save your work, people. Let's save your elements separately. Quiz, you know what I'm talking about here. It's
yes.
Yeah. Don't just create an image and then go, there, I'm done. I can delete it all. It just, whoa. Why? Even one says, why is here a pizza on your floor?
What?
No, that is a shag carpeting rug that's on the floor.
Yes.
Because 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this happens in 1981, but they're broke college students. So all they can afford is 10-year-old stuff. So, you know.
Well, you know, when all of your money is going towards your crime fighting apartment switchover, then you know it's you gotta live with the shag carpet. Comes with the apartment.
Yeah, you know,
That's where that fucking dog went.
Well, yeah, Johnny Bonsaga says, I see Polly's presentation skills are improving. I never claim to have skills, sir. I claim to have a tenuous grasp on how to do this at best. And I don't need any browser-based system like StreamYard doing it for me, like some other people I could name. Quiz.
I don't use OBS.
I know. I'm just hoping to dissuade the audience. They don't know who I mean. Okay, so
fucking easy. I don't know what you're bitching about.
What, StreamYard?
Yeah, it's fucking easy.
Well, yeah, it's easy. That's why people use it. You try using OBS and challenge yourself, man. Shit, you can do more things with it.
I tried that and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Fuck this.
But it's great. You can create complex scenes. Your audience makes fun of you for not doing it perfect. It's a ball.
Well, to be fair, you get good scrub. But that's what I do. I use OBS for that stuff, and I just pipe the connection through StreamYard.
Oh, and Holy Reaper's here. How's it going, man?
Hey, Reaper.
Let me see. Comic capture or article capture? Which one is it? Article capture. There it is. Marvel Comics writer Jerry Dugan tells comic fan to eat a bag of pre-fucked dicks.
Jerry Dugan. I had a lot of respect for Jerry Dugan, not anymore.
Well, yeah,
Why is he telling a fan to go suck a bag of
'Cause he's a
pre-fucked
crybaby
dicks?
piece of shit.
yeah. It's just you find out that
Yeah.
some people are. He overreacted to minor things on Twitter. Is the TLDR? It's like,
Really?
yeah. Marvel Comics writer Jerry Dugan recently took to Twitter and told a comics fan to, quote, eat a bag of pre-fucked dicks. Dugan, who is currently penning Marauders, Cable, and Savage Avengers, decided to respond to a comic book fan who posted a GIF reaction in response to a recent Newsarama article about the upcoming X-Men event, Comic X of Swords. That's it. Quiz, there was no text. It was just a GIF of an eye rolling. That's it.
Yeah, because people are tired of these stupid events, and there's already like a dozen X books. Ten of Swords sounds boring.
Okay, you see this one? I'm sure you've seen this before, this eye rolling GIF quiz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one that he responded to. Why don't you eat a bag of pre-fucked dick?
Letterer, inker, or something. So
For
he
what,
actually
DC?
works. What?
For what, DC?
No, for some like indie company.
Oh,
He's effectively a nobody. But you don't do that. That's really unprofessional to tell somebody to eat a bag of pre-fucked dicks.
well, especially like, okay, I can understand if you were doing that on your personal Twitter account and stuff like that. But here's the thing, right? I don't think very many people, including people that we like Tug and stuff like that, have really touched on the importance and the reason why these sorts of things are the way that they are, right? When
Yeah.
people talk about being the unprofessional people, right? No one would bat an eyelash if Jerry Dugan were to say, eat a bag of pre-fucked dicks to anyone being a dick to him in the timeline. No one would care. Even this guy right here posting these eye roll things, if he were talking about something entirely different, something in his personal life, no one would care. The reason why is because he is promoting something he is a part of. So therefore, he's not representing himself. He's representing Marvel. He's representing the Marauders. He's representing the Ten of Swords. He is representing everyone but himself. And when he does this, he is not tarnishing his good name as much as he is tarnishing Marvel's good name.
Yeah, which is just more proof that Marvel hates their fans.
Yes.
And you get this. So the statement, right? Dugan, who was tagged in the original post by Newsarama, would respond by writing, Nate, wishing you success on your continuing journey outside comics. Ooh. Okay. That was a little cold. I'm not sure there was really a call for that, but and I like this line. No wonder the industry is tumbling so professional. It's just like you guys were saying. I don't. There are. Remember when DC tried to establish social media standards? Like, what was it, a year and a half ago? And it was just like complete failure because you can't rope these people in.
Yeah.
All right.
See, that's the thing, is that if these companies want to put forth the standards and policies in place, they need to be harsh with their punishments for failing to meet those standards. So if someone goes and does something like this, they're out on their ass. And see, that's the thing, is that there are some people that have been victims of that have been put out on their ass, and rightfully so. I mean, what's his nuts? The idiot doing Star Wars, Chuck Wendig. Chuck Wendig was chucked out because he was being an unmitigated asshole. All right, but it's the fact that they're giving these people far too many chances. They need to crack down and put someone out as an example, not to let it get as far as Chuck Wendig. But as soon as the very first instance comes up, immediately and publicly kick them out and decry them for doing the things that they're doing. And say, if you want to promote yourself on your Twitter account, you need to act professionally as if you are a representative of Marvel Comics. If you are wanting your personal Twitter account to be your personal Twitter account and have only that, you never talk about the comics you are working on, ever
Well,
on your personal Twitter.
I hear you, Quiz. They lit, and you know the mix, right? They few of them have separate personal and professional accounts. They just have an account, and in their
Yeah.
bio they list all of their publications, all the stuff that they've worked on. They'll list Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Valiant Comics. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so like
Yeah.
there is no split there. I mean, we know people that have a separate personal and professional account, and then that's different. But it's not. They mix them up. You're right. There should be. If I was to ever attend an executive session over at Disney where they're considering, like, you know, what's going on at Marvel Comics, it would just be a long list of a contractor said eat a bag of pre-fucked dicks, and another time this, and another time this. It would just be a long list of obscenities that I would be reading off to an executive committee. It's like, and these are your representatives online, and you can say that they're contractors, they're technically not employees of Marvel, but you know, here's all their bylines on a fucking screen in front of you.
Yeah. Here's all of the things that they're putting in their Twitter bio as their accomplishments, and all of them are writing on your publications.
Yeah. So Jerry Dugan
That's
says,
the thing, though.
Go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
Disney has a social media policy. Marvel doesn't enforce it.
No,
because
you're
they're
right.
technically a subsidiary or some bullshit.
Yeah.
But they're all supposed to have or be abiding by that social media policy.
Well,
and Disney's is really harsh. That's why Wendig got booted.
Yeah, and the guy was forced into an apology. He was a Disney executive employee that drew the picture of the Covington Catholic kids being thrown into a wood chipper. Remember that?
Yeah.
But he actually thought, yeah, this is fine, to send that out on his Twitter account that's connected to Disney. And until people started saying, what the fuck, man? He's like, oh, well, hold on, let me take that down and apologize for it. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, by then the damage is done to the reputation of the company. Disney, I think, has a pretty shit reputation for with a lot of their fan base that's over 12. So, yeah, I don't know. This wasn't even the first thing this dipshit said to the people on that thread either, because he told the guy first, like, have fun or good luck in your business career aspirations outside of comics.
Right.
Like, that's kind of a threat to his job, saying, hey, you're not going to work at Marvel.
Yeah, that's the one that I just read right up here. Nate, wishing you success on your continued journey outside of comics. Like I said, little cold. Did you just like publicly threaten to fire the guy, or have the guy fired, or have knowledge of him no longer working for the company because you're going to do something about it? What the fuck, man? But he goes on to say,
sounds like he's getting blackballed.
Yeah, doesn't it? I mean, I don't understand how you're supposed to take that any other way. Reading it, he says, you ding-dongs don't get to show up in my mentions and keep your civilian status. You can say whatever the hell you want anywhere you want, except in the mentions of someone else. Civilian status? This guy sounds like Cenk Uygur when he's talking about, we're going to war. We're going to be digging trenches and we're taking it on. This is guerrilla warfare. And it's like, can you guys like chill with the bellicose terminology? You fucking bunch of balding pussies.
No, they're hashtag resisting. This is the revolution, man.
Here's the part that kills me. He says, a guy responds, Mechmaster, you're an asshole. And then Jerry Dugan says, eat a bag of pre-fucked dicks, comma, but nice grammar. So you're criticizing his grammar inside of also calling him this. But if you're going to call out somebody's grammar, you should really be using proper grammar. And he's the one who brought it here, so don't call me a grammar Nazi. Eat a bag of pre-fucked.
Obviously.
It's an implication, but it's bad grammar because there's no subject there, just predicate.
I understand that, but telling fans to eat a bag of dicks is probably not a good way to sell product.
Good Lord, man, I'm talking about dicks that show up in my mentions. Want to be that guy? Go ahead. Meantime, the adults have larger, more pressing concerns. Oh, the adults like you, huh? You're the representative of how adults act? Get fucked.
You're acting like an adult right here, Jerry. Man, I'm not going to be able to listen to the rest of that podcast now. Oh, he kind of ditched halfway into it, so I think I'm pretty safe. He and Brian Posehn used to have a fucking D&D podcast that I was actually enjoying listening to. Now I think it's going to be irrevocably tainted because Jerry Dugan, you can go fuck yourself, dude.
I've had this encounter with Mark Waid written comics.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, Jesus Christ, Mark Waid wrote this, and that guy's a giant angry man baby. That guy's just the worst representation of what we're talking about. I mean, he's the kind of guy that hires Heather Ontoses, you know what I mean, to make a point and so forth. I mean,
Well, it seems like
he didn't hire her, but like I said, the kind of guy, you know.
Yeah.
it seems like the whole industry is littered with a bunch of like immature crybabies that are very thin-skinned. They can't take any kind of criticism or pushback at all, or they freak out and start calling you names.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be firing a lot of these people.
And well, they can't even really fire them, right? Because as they keep saying, to allow them to do whatever they want, they're not employees. They're not subject to our stuff. They're just contractees. Which is
You can discontinue their contract.
Which is a load. Absolutely, you can DC fire them, just not renew their contract. But what is interesting about that is that we can't do anything to police them because they're just on contract. They're franchisees, that kind of thing. Oh, so that means if we go through the actual employees' Twitter accounts, those are just like going to be squeaky clean. They're not going to be freaking out and calling people names and all sorts of. Who is it that with all of our political shit, we're going to remember who voted for Trump, even if Hillary wins, and we're going to, do it to you. It implies as if their actual full-on salaried employees act any differently.
Yeah.
And we know that's not true. So what the fuck are you talking about with the cheap excuses?
Well, not only that, is that you know how you can easily rectify this situation? Put it in the contract that they need to abide by these policies, that you are then supposed to either use your social media presence to promote yourself and yourself only, not any works that you are publicizing with the company, or you are to abide by the standards that every other employee has for their social media account. If you are a representative of the company, you are a representative of the company. If you represent yourself, then you are a representation of yourself and cannot promote your book on your personal social media. Done.
That's probably already under their morals clause.
Well, if that is, then they should fire every single one of these motherfuckers. Fire every single one of them.
Yeah, but it's like Jack said. It's like Jack said earlier. They're just not enforcing it. They have a policy. Yeah. It's not like they need to generate one.
They just aren't going to do it because all these people are friends, and it's sort of like an inner circle of nepotism. You just start hiring each other's brothers or siblings or whatever, and giving them jobs so that they don't have to try real hard.
Yeah.
Like a cult.
Like a cult. All right, let's talk about this because I was actually a little disappointed in this. Warner Brothers officially delays Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman 1984. And speaking of people who shouldn't be on Twitter, huh? Jesus Christ. Did you see her with the Imagine thing? No? You guys don't know about that?
No.
So yeah. Gal Gadot starts this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it.
Oh, okay.
How could you avoid it?
You said no. Well, sure.
Oh, is Polly roboting?
Possibly.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
Warner Brothers. What?
I think he's a couple of seconds behind us. Oh God! Wait a second, Polly. Let you catch up.
All right, how's it going?
Okay, are you good now?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group chairman Toby Emmerich officially confirmed that Gal Gadot's upcoming Wonder Woman 1984 will be delayed. As reported in The Hollywood Reporter, Emmerich released the following statement announcing that Wonder Woman 1984 will be delayed. Emmerich stated, "When we greenlit 1984 was with the intention to be viewed on the big screen, and we are excited to announce that Warner Brothers Pictures will bring the film to theaters on August 14th. That's good corporate speak. There's the word delay wasn't even used in there. We're excited to announce it'll be happening months and months down the road. Hello.
Months later than projected.
Yeah. He added, "We hope the world will be a safer and healthier."
Definitely check him out. He's really funny too. He's the dude that makes all the musical memes. Makes memes out of meme music out of Cardi B. He's made several. Some of them went viral.
Mhm.
But he did a whole musical breakdown of the whole Imagine video. And at the very end, he asks, leave a comment down below. Who is your favorite performer? And I left a comment. I said, who is my favorite performer? The bullet I'll be eating later.
Damn. All right.
It was pretty cringy.
Yep. I would rather eat a bullet than watch that video again.
Hey, Quiz, I got something I want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's a video.
What's that?
Famous people singing Imagine.
Oh no, absolutely not. Is that Jack? Are you trying to jockey for my position as number 2 on this show, Jack?
No,
you trying to get me to kill myself, Jack?
Maybe a little.
No.
What's up, Polly?
I'm watching the bitrate for the stream dip up and down.
Yeah. That shit happens. I can walk you through some of the steps I had to take to get the bitrate to stop doing that after the stream.
All right. I mean, it's never going as low as it was one night when I was doing Noir Bar, where it was like, oh god, every 5 seconds it would go up and down and now. Anyway,
blame Far and her Australian internet.
I will. Just later. Let's take a look at this one. Nope, that's not the right one. Oh, wait a minute. I'm already sharing it with them. I need to share it with you guys. Your screen. That's what happens when you open up settings to see what the hell's going on.
Key Immortal Hulk character is transgender.
Correct.
Is this a retcon?
Yes, a little bit.
In a recent issue of Marvel Comics, Immortal Hulk, a key character in the series, is revealed to be transgender. The Immortal Hulk number 32, Dr. Shirlene McGowan explains she is transgender. The revelation comes as McGowan figures out that Zemnu? Jack, you read Immortal Hulk.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, okay.
Xenu?
No, I don't. I don't read that garbage.
I thought you did.
I've read a couple issues. It's trash.
Has implanted false memories into the entire populace of Earth, making them believe that he is a hero. Zemnu, the living Hulk, from an old children's show called Zemnu's Magic Planet. McGowan tells Doc Samson that she came to the belief that she was transgender through a, quote, long process of self-examination. This revelation comes as Marvel Comics also introduced a new non-binary character, Snowflake, as part of their new Warriors lineup. Yes, they did.
I thought when that was coming out, I thought that Safe Space was going to be the non-binary one, but
no, Snowflake. That's the fragile one. Hence, non-binary, I guess.
Because
okay.
Safe Space is like a stereotypical jock.
Yeah, right. That wears pink. That wears pink.
It's magenta.
Seems legit to me. I don't see what you guys are complaining about.
Yeah, stereotypical jocks wear pink.
Let's see what the actual text is here. Well, it's really more of a mauve. Anyway.
A mauve.
Yeah, examination, I guess, or self-discovery. I spent a lot of time working out what was me and what wasn't. And that was a story told about me, to me, by the world.
Yeah. Ridiculous purple prose that means absolutely nothing.
And now this thing, this monster from the Magic Planet, this Hulk, it can look through me, through a screen. It can force its own narratives onto me and even my head. And I haven't had enough of that. Who I am belongs to me. Jesus.
Fuck off. Fuck right the fuck off.
Next issue, they're going to reveal that Zemnu is actually Mike Pence.
COVID. Oh man, that was pretty terrible. Jesus Christ.
That was awful. I regret ever listening to that.
Does somebody want to look up the trailer for New Warriors and see how many downvotes it currently has? Because they're getting ratioed as fuck, but I haven't looked to see what they're at.
Oh, the video that Marvel put out?
Yeah, give me a second. I'll find it.
Marvel Comics gets roasted following the release of New Warriors. Marvel Comics and Marvel Entertainment were absolutely roasted following the release of their New Warriors trailer that Jack's looking up the current numbers on right now. This article isn't that old. It's from March 24th. That was
And there's
Yeah.
only 3.6 thousand likes.
Whew, that's pretty rough. Man. That's
No
pretty.
such thing as bad publicity. Tell that to your sales line.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what's sad though is I'm going to read this issue because James Callie gave me $5 to buy it. Would do it. Thank you on the Streamlabs. Thank you, Oki. How do you feel about the upcoming amazing stories?
Let's see what Idris Elba's been up to, huh?
Getting COVID.
Oh, dumb shit. Look, he's been up to a bunch of dumb shit. Idris Elba describes humanity as infection, says coronavirus pandemic is the Earth's response to humanity. Dude.
That's also the premise of Godzilla, isn't it?
Sort of, I guess, if you really want to stretch it. I mean,
he just ripped off a movie about a giant lizard.
Well, I mean, they were the products of atomic fallout. I don't really think it was Earth getting angry over it, but okay.
No,
Well,
the new one. Not...
Oh, the new one. Oh, fuck, I don't know.
That's from Kingsman. That was a plot in the Kingsman, was the fact that Samuel L. Jackson's lispy character was saying that the humanity was a virus, and that the reason why the global warming is happening is because it's the Earth having a fever trying to burn us away.
Did anybody look at him and be like, global warming's fake?
Right.
Because that would have been an awesome credits roll. He's like, oh.
Elba appeared on Apple TV's new series Oprah Talks COVID-19 to detail his opinions on why the coronavirus exists. Here's Oprah Winfrey tweeting with her blue check, of course, which is why I FaceTime with Idris Elba and his wife Sabrina, who are safely quarantined together after he tested positive for COVID-19. Idris fills me in on his journey, and Sabrina reveals the result of the tests after they were quarantined together. Elba, who recently announced that he tested positive, said, "One of the upsides of this whole drama is that we are forced to think together as a race, as a human race." But he added, "Our world has also been taking a kicking. We damaged our world. And it's no surprise that our world is reacting to the human race. It's no surprise that a virus has been created that is going to slow us down and ultimately make us think that maybe we shouldn't be eating bats in open-air, unrefrigerated markets in China. That's a standout thing that's very obvious," said Elba, with some inclusions from me.
Yes. This is the plot of the Kingsman.
I just kept waiting for him to hand me a pamphlet. Because this sounds like some religious cult walking around town handing out pamphlets.
Like, I'm sure that the fucking actual dialogue in the movie is different, but this sounds like a line straight out of the Kingsman.
And he's a great actor. The guy's got charisma to spare, but shut up.
Yeah, actors are not smart people. So just shut up and dance, monkey boy.
Did Tom Hanks go out there and talk about how the world is a vampire when he got coronavirus?
Well, I would like to point out that he's been isolated on islands before, and his wife's name is Rita Wilson, Wilson was also the name of his volleyball on the island.
Yes.
So it's all connected.
Trying to isolate Tom Hanks, but with Wilson, huh? Yeah. Trying to recreate that movie?
Yeah, that's what's happening. This is all, they're filming everything.
I do like that he put the disclaimer in there that he could explain. He continued, "This is almost like the world's cry out. Like, hey, you're kicking me and what you're doing is not good, so we will get rid of you." It's a good thing he put that almost in there, because you could be like, okay, wait a minute. You realize that before Europeans showed up in North America, large swaths, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of native North Americans, were wiped out by a viral plague. Were they victims of the Earth's wrath too?
Yeah,
Idris
pissed off the great, obviously.
What an asshole! What a jackass! Like, I'm at home and I can't go to any red carpet events, and I'm a DJ and I can't show up before crowds, so I don't know what to say, and I need attention.
Who I'm going to be taking my virology lesson from is an actor,
Right.
because they know everything about virology. So
Keaton says, "Is he rehearsing for a part? Seriously, what was that monologue?" Good call. I mean, I haven't heard it live, but it certainly sounds like it's scripted. I don't even know if it was or not, but the overly dramatic hyperbole of it all. Fucking hell, man.
it definitely sounds like it was scripted.
I don't even know what's going on with this article. If you guys see it up here, right? Know about anything about this?
I was reading chat.
X-Men actor Sophie Turner seemingly responds to Ant-Man's Evangeline Lilly's coronavirus response. Don't be fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, Evangeline Lilly has not been social distancing. She
Ooh.
said that it's not, it's really not effective or whatever, and she doesn't think that it's going to work. So Sophie Turner's bitching about it. That's my understanding of it.
Turner, alongside her husband Joe Jonas, says, "Stay inside. Don't be fucking stupid. Even if you count on your freedom. I don't know what it is like over your health." All right. What the fuck am I looking at?
Well, she's married to a Jonas brother, so what do you want?
Yeah. She continued, "I don't give a fuck about your freedom. You could be infecting other people, other vulnerable people around you by doing this. Oh, like you care about the little people. You're just fucking angry. There's no glitzy events for you to attend. Where's my attention? I need attention." So they get into arguments over Twitter with each other.
Although I do believe that she's serious when she says she doesn't care about other people's freedoms.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
I could buy that.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's not go to that one. Let's go to this one.
For $1.
Tug Rampant says, "I love your hot takes, Paul." Like, well, yeah, that's what I'm here for. Oh, I haven't read this one either. From CBR. Well, we know it's probably going to be hot. Marvel Comics promises larger scale plan regarding COVID-19 shipping woes. I wonder what they're going to do about this.
Is it an exclusive?
No. Interestingly.
Yeah, this is probably because Peter Simeti shamed shamed CB Cebulski on Twitter for like 3 days.
I saw that. It was great.
That was really funny. Peter wasn't wrong either.
Nope. Peter Simeti's a great guy.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude.
He's speaking truth to power.
Yeah, he's doing a lot more than these fucking retards are.
Like more overall, yeah, I'm willing to bet somebody puts in like 16, 18-hour days on the regular. I mean, it's a one-man show over there, you know?
He offered a buyback program, and which he's had in place since like last February. And he also was doing returnability on their books for Alterna.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a big stack of them, you could just send them to him, and he'll refund your money or whatever. And
well, there's something Marvel would never do in a million years. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Well, he even
they
said,
go bankrupt.
The industry needs to do returnability again, and Marvel was like, "Yeah, I don't think so."
Nope. If we ship them or drop them down a storm drain, they count as sold. That's what we tell our investors, and that's what we tell our stockholders. Leave it alone.
Yep.
Marvel Comics assures it is working towards a solution as comic book shipments halt as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. With the comic book direct market facing uncertain times, Marvel Comics assures that it has a large-scale plan. As a result of the coronavirus, Diamond Comic Distributors, a direct market... I'm just going to start that sentence over again. How about that? What do you think? Good idea? Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Go for it.
As a result of the coronavirus, Diamond Comic Distributors, the direct market's largest distributor, let's just call them what they are, monopolists.
Yep.
Fuck. Announced it would be suspending new orders from being shipped to its warehouse indefinitely. As such, it is unclear when comics with an on-sale date of April 1st or later will see the light of day. As part of the weekly Marvel mailer, the House of Ideas sends to retailers through Diamond, the New York-based publisher issued a statement assuring its readers it is working towards a solution. Don't worry, you can read our social justice messages smuggled in through comics, as per always. We can do giveaway digitally.
Yeah. Right. But butts in seats, Polly.
Yeah, right. So their message says, as soon as Marvel and Diamond have the proper knowledge on what the future likely holds during these trying times of a global pandemic. We will update the FOC dates and on-sale dates, said Marvel. We assure you there's a larger scale plan being worked on for the upcoming shipping schedule, and thank you for your patience.
Yeah, their larger scale plan is just a jar of Vaseline.
Which, to fuck their customers?
Yep.
Ah.
Right in the ass.
I think it's adorable that you think they're worried about lubrication. They're not.
Well, no, they had to come up with something slightly generous to the consumer.
Jack sent this article over from Bleeding Fool. I grabbed one from Bounding into Comics, but this one's a little bit more detailed in it. Bad news for comic shops. Diamond is not accepting any new product. For those guys, for you guys that don't know, Diamond Distributors really does have a virtual, not true, but virtual monopoly on distributing comics in the direct market. They're the ones that send comics to all the places.
Comic stores, supermarkets.
Libraries, supermarkets. Well, not that corner stores carry them anymore, but you get the idea, right?
The last distributors that aren't Diamond only ship to like bookstores and supermarkets. That's it.
Yeah.
And they're less than 5% of the entire distribution system.
Yep.
So it's a big deal that Diamond, a massive deal, that Diamond is not accepting any new comics. As I say here, we're no longer taking new comics at its warehouse. Diamond asked printers not to send them any more new products. The hold will result in a slowdown in the economy due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It will remain in place until further notice. Where did I get reduced from? I will. Diamond will continue to ship out products that are already in its warehouse for the time being. This is a significant signal towards the future of comic shops around the country. Yeah, they weren't bad enough off, right? Comic shops weren't having a hard enough time. And now, without new comics after a certain point, once Diamond has shipped what they already have in store, or in warehouse in their case, right? There'll be no new merchandise coming in. That means for the little guy, the comic shop owner, there'll be no new money coming in. I feel really bad for them, man. I mean, Jack, Jesus Christ, the profit margins are razor thin, right? You know?
Yeah, they are minuscule. At most, you're making 50% of cover price. And that's Marvel and DC. Indies, you're making 35%. And that's not including your shipping costs. That's pretty thin margins with when you're paying $4 or $5 for an $8 to $10 book. That's an issue 1. You have to be real careful with those numbers. And the fact you have no new product after this week, as of today, today was the last new comic day. Nothing else is coming out. They're not shipping anything after today, except what they've already got in the warehouse. Anything else is not happening. So there will likely be no new comics unless somebody sent ahead, which is pretty unlikely. What's on the shelf now is what you're getting. My comic shops that I go to all are doing curbside. Can't go in the stores anymore. So you have to call ahead and tell them what you want.
Right.
They don't have what you want. Why would you go? You can't browse. So let's say I want X-Men number 9. And they say, well, we don't have that. Well, they lost not only the sale for X-Men 9, but anything else I would have seen on the shelf next to X-Men number 9. Mm-hmm. So that's actually a massive blow to the industry, because that's how you make your money, is not off the one issue somebody comes in for. It's the 2 or 3 other ones they buy when they're in the shop. And that's how, most customers go in and they browse. And they'll dick around for 5-10 minutes, fiddle through the back issues occasionally, and find something else they want. And they'll usually pick up on average 2 issues. One of which they came in for, and one that they didn't.
And so you got Richo, right? He says, I was going to say comic book stores don't have that long left. And people are talking like this is going to like expedite the end of it. Unless you've got a massive buffer in place, meaning a very large line of credit or large savings or whatever, because you got to pay the bill somehow. And like Jack was just saying, the profit margins are quite thin, and you pay your bills to keep your store open in that way and pay your employees. So you start letting go of employees, and you don't have any new money coming in because people aren't coming by because there's no new comics. So what do you do? And
it's a death spiral.
Yeah.
The downside is that this will kill a lot of stores. A lot of people that run shops are in their 50s and 60s. And they're just not going to reopen.
Yeah. And then Pete
They're going
says,
to say
no,
it's
no.
just not worth it.
And they have been, and P is making a great point. No one is buying shit if they keep making America Chavez and Screen Times and Safe Spaces and Snowflakes and Trailblazers and all the other social justice crap and fucking with tried and true characters doing weird shit with them to promote their own ideology. And this, by the way, in my opinion, it's just pure get whatever number they want. There's no there's no Comicron to tell you how many of what or what was shipped. It's just like, oh, we sold 100,000 digital editions of this on Comixology because we said we did. Did you actually? They're using it to buffer up their numbers of this is how many sales we have. Okay, let's see if it's actually how many sales you have, because you can still sell the digital editions. And if the numbers really were where you said that they were, this should be a great help to you without Diamond's shipping. But I think you were fucking lying about those digital numbers the whole time. The way you were pretending your shipped numbers were your sold numbers.
It'll be interesting to see if they were lying to Disney about those numbers too. Because if they were using that as like continued operations excuse, like, oh, well, we've been selling all these digital editions, it's really just people reading it through Comixology and not actually buying it.
Right.
Then that'll really hit their bottom line really hard because they can't hide it now. And I think there will be a little bit of an uptick, but they won't be able to disguise it anymore because they can't shuffle the numbers around and they can't cook the books. If enough shops go out of business, Diamond won't reopen. They won't be able to.
Yeah,
there won't be enough stores.
That's a great fucking point. They said, I mean, they made the call of indefinitely. Let's say it goes to, oh God help them, August.
If this goes to August, the whole industry's dead. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
No shop can survive that except for the big mega stores like Lone Star and Mile High. And even Mile High might go out because that guy's close to retirement as it is.
I'm just looking to see if there's anything.
Yeah, this could be very, very bad. And what gets me is the celebration I've been seeing through Comicsgate of this.
Mm-hmm.
I find very sickening.
You know what? Hold on. Let me pause this article here for a second because I hear you. I hear exactly what you're saying, and I agree. It's like, oh well, okay. Your boy Zach, I watched a video of his today, right? And he was saying that Comic Pros is who he was talking about specifically. They're like they were acting like they had their spot in the sun, and they were laughing at people doing individual production through Indiegogos and such, right? And he goes, no, we were actually doing pretty good over here. We weren't billionaires or anything, but you guys made it sound like you were in the most comfortable spot in the sun you could be in. Looks like you're not. He wasn't celebrating the downfall of an industry. He was talking about pros specifically, but I've heard what you said. It's like, oh, it's time for this thing to end. It's like, guys, do you think people are still going to be buying Indiegogo? Like when interest in comics writ large fades, interest in your comics by extension fades.
Yep. There are a lot of people buying indie books out of speculation. And I don't think people have really caught on to that some of these are speculators. People buying their Cyber Frogs to resell them for $100 and whatnot.
Right.
The limited edition ones. That's what all the variant covers are selling for. Speculator market. Everybody knows that. If you really think that red foil Vampirella Cyber Frog cover is going to be worth money, you bought two of them. Even buying one of them, I'm sorry, the image isn't that great. It's okay, but if you're speculating, that's fine. But be aware that that's what it is, and those numbers are going to drop as the industry dies. And if there's no shops, you can't resell it. You're going to have a harder time networking, and it's going to be worth less money. When was the last time you saw somebody get all excited and a sex boner up for a pulp magazine? That collector market has been gone for 20 years.
You don't worry about what boners I get for what I like pulp magazines, you fucker.
I do too, but a lot of that shit is free online.
Yeah, no, we're niche fans. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
it's not.
It'll become too niche, and then a lot of people will get discouraged by that and not produce Indiegogos because within a year, you'll see those numbers tank. And I would be willing to put money down on that if I had any. But yeah, I think they're not realizing that their survivability as indie creators is tied to the industry's health at large.
Amen. That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't want to fix it. And I'm going to connect it to something else that might sound odd, but hear me out on this one. You get certain people on YouTube that are political commentators, right? And they're talking about, I want to see the downfall of news media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sticks, X, and Hammer comes to mind. I like Sticks. Yeah. I watch Sticks almost daily. Okay. The guy's constantly talking about the dinosaur media going away. Sticks, if they're not out there reporting on stuff and providing you information to comment on, you don't have any substance anymore. You're talking about what they're talking about. You don't want the downfall of journalism. You want the depoliticization and desensationalization of media. You keep talking about they're dinosaurs and you want to see them die. No, you don't, because you're asking for your own death. Every time he posts a video, it's on a given article, and it's him commenting on the article, and it's from a news source that in the very next video, he's talking about, I hope they die. You can't hope for the death of Marvel Comics and then say, oh, my little Indiegogo is going to oh yeah, you personally are going to keep the entire interest in sequential art alive? No, you're not. You want the whole thing to be fucking healthy. You want to get rid of the SJWs. You want to get rid of the sensationalism. That's what you really want. Don't pray for the death of the whole thing. That's extremely short-sighted.
Oh, it's massively short-sighted. If they were smart, and I know they're not going to listen to this because I dunk on them a lot. They were smart. They'd hurry up and publish, I'd say 5 or 6 books, and then send them to the comic shops for free. Send like 5 copies of each one, and that'll get new stuff on the shelf and get them exposure. And then the comic shops will say, hey, we've got some new product. Do it through Alternatives Publishing Partnership and let Alternatives send it to them because they have the distribution set up already. So they have a list of all these stores, and you could send them stuff through Alternatives distribution system, which is Peter, basically, and even let them put the Alterna logo on it and say, look what you could be getting. And then Alterna could send them books, and some Comics Gators could send out their stuff too. And then you would have new stuff on the shelf to bring people in when everything calms down, or when people call and say, do you have any new comics? They could be like, yes, we have these titles. But nobody's even thinking of doing that because all these indie creators that are doing these GoFundMes and Kickstarters are only focused on doing their own thing and not doing any kind of in the store thing. If they would get in the stores, they would get much higher numbers.
Okay. Functional raises a fair point. I disagree entirely. If the big boys go down after this blows over, the demand will be massive. Think they'll do better, but you'll have to buy via online and not in a shop, thus creating a new market of online comic shops, which can preview a few pages before you order something like a comic shop. Okay, there's a lot in there, and it's not an unfair point, but okay. Hey, what's up, Cynic?
It's very speculative.
It is, but okay.
Set in stone.
Who was it that said Asian hippie? Somebody set it up just a little bit further. Who actually even reads digital comics? Fair enough. Not a lot of people. And you know why? Because they got the fucking nerve to charge as much as they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're charging the regular cover price for a new issue.
Yeah, like, get fucked. Like, are you serious? If you were charging like $1.75, $2.25, whatever the fuck, somewhere like in the half or a little bit more 60% range, because, you don't actually have to print it and send it to, okay, your Comixology market would be a lot fucking bigger. Your digital market overall, you could be the provider. You could take it away from fucking Amazon and Comixology. It could be an entire industry for you between just Marvel doing it or Marvel and DC. It could be an industry proprietary thing if you wanted it to be.
Well,
but
they do.
They have this, but I mean, they got a bizarre fantasy that they can charge full cover price for a digital edition. Oh, fuck, get bent. That's why I don't buy them.
Marvel actually does have one called Marvel Now. which is their digital release stuff, and that is proprietary. It's not Comixology. The problem is
Oh.
that again, my whole thing about this is I'm very much a traditionalist. I hate this whole idea of there's another YouTuber short fat otaku. He did a video here recently that I 100% agree with. He talks about as a service, the whole idea of things as a service. And the reason why I buy the things the way that I do and how I do is because I refuse to allow a company to dictate to me what I do and do not own. I refuse to give my money to a place where I just get the right to rent whatever it is that I bought. I want a physical copy or I'm done. So the person that you guys are sitting there talking about digital editions and who reads digital editions, I do. But I sure as fuck don't pay for them. Yo-ho and a bottle of rum, bitches, because this shit is ridiculous. I am not paying for a JPEG. I'm not doing it.
Views of the panel do not necessarily reflect all members of the panel or the views of the channel itself.
It says that in the description. Okay, no, it doesn't, but I've really got to add that after.
You really should.
You really should.
Like I said, I will not pay for a JPEG. I'm not paying for a JPEG. It will not fucking happen.
Well, and that's the thing. It's very easy to pirate digital comics, but on the other hand,
who would do that?
Yeah, who would do that?
Online selling stores.
Condemn.
We're also overlooking that there are a lot of stores on like eBay and that have their own websites like mycomicshop.com.
Yeah.
Those are brick and mortar stores though, most of the time.
And
you're running a big gamble by doing that because you have to have some kind of audience for it.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily easy to do.
Yeah, no kidding.
I
didn't even know about Marvel Now until Quiz just mentioned it, so I hear you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they don't advertise for shit. Unfortunately, a lot of comic buyers, unless they're buying back issues, the average comic reader is over 35. They're older people that don't, like my age group, that don't really use the internet that much, or they only use it for specific functions. So if you're not looking for a back issue, you want to go in and look and browse. And you can't do that with digital comics. They don't really give you much of a preview. Yeah. So I don't know how well that would hold up over time.
Well, okay, and functional. Okay, like I said, there was a bunch of stuff there in what he said. The other thing is, okay, this did happen before. Not the same thing, but the idea of like a sudden drop in popularity in the industry and then financial difficulty at the end of the speculator boom, right?
Yeah.
And Marvel did get sold off, and it was rescued by, well, controversial figure. What's it? What's his name?
Perlmutter.
Okay. Not Perlman. I keep wanting to call him Ron Perlman, but that's totally not who.
Perlmutter? Really?
No, that's not right.
It's Pearl something, right?
Something like it. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
So Pearly Man is the one who rescues Marvel Comics, and he did it into something that we're all familiar with without even knowing it. He sold off the movie rights to the IPs that Marvel owned in a lot of ways. So X-Men went over here and Spider-Man went over there. And that's why you do not see those characters in the MCU, because one of the ways to generate capital for this company, Marvel Entertainment Group, that was going under, as it was then called at the time, and it was going to go under. This guy came in and, okay, we need to generate capital. We need to pay the lights. We need to pay the employees. And they went back to a core thing of, okay, who are our core IPs? Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, right? Hulk, Thor. They went back to who their core characters were. Cut down how many things that they were publishing per month. Put out stuff that they knew would sell for incoming money. In other words, got very serious and business-like about it. In other words, everything that Marvel isn't doing right now with Disney's infinitely deep pockets, right? They're fucking around forever. Remember the one stream we did like a year ago where I brought up the spreadsheet of how many things they're publishing, and it was into the triple digits?
Oh, yeah, it's over 100. It's Ron Perlman.
No.
Perelman.
Jesus Christ, his name is Ron Perlman too, the big ape-looking guy?
Ron Perlman's an actor. You're thinking of Isaac Perlmutter.
No, I'm thinking of Ron Perlman. Do you want the fucking article
Whoa,
on it?
Ron Perlman saved Marvel Comics?
Not the actor. Some bald middle-aged dude. He's a business guy.
That's okay. I can't believe his name is Ron Perlman too. That's great. So I was right when I was saying I wanted to say Ron Perlman, and I was thinking like the big ugly guy in Alien Resurrection, amongst other things. Hellboy, that guy. He was Hellboy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Different guy.
Because he's Ronald Owen Perlman.
Yeah.
Okay, and Functional says massive capitalist, ruthless capitalist, Israeli businessman. Oh yeah.
He's not Israeli. He's an American banker.
Well,
Isaac Perlmutter is Israeli. This is Ronald Perlman.
Okay.
Yeah, Isaac Perlmutter is
the guy. We're so off topic. Okay. Anyway, the point is that is what needs to happen. That's what I bring up, the reconstitution of Marvel in a different form following its failure. But this is a different kind of failure. You would need somebody to come in and go, look, you're all fired. And these are the comics that weren't selling. And the first person that would be fired, guys, take a guess. Who would be the first person that you would fire, or that you think I'd fire?
CB Cebulski.
No, actually not.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Sana Amanat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got a couple of super chats here I missed. I'm really sorry, Oki. Thank you, Oki Native, for the donations. It's the plot to the Lance Hendrickson TV show Millennium. That's right. I loved that show. That was awesome.
Yeah, it really was. It was, it was X-Files, but with Hendrickson. So, like, cool.
Yeah, it was a weird show, and his wife was kind of hot. Also, he says, I also miss the cheap mall Chinese food. How's your withdrawal going? About as well as yours. I would stab some delivery kid for some Chinese right now. And I'm out of the delivery zone for all the Chinese restaurants in my area.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. And lastly, he says, here's the last $3 I'm going to use to buy an indie comic in the fight against big comic agenda. Thank you. I will spend it on an indie book. Thanks, Oki. I'm sorry those were late. Got distracted.
Okay, I only caught part of that. You're too far away to stab a Chinaman, but you want to? What?
No, I'm out of the delivery zone for the Chinese restaurants. And I don't want him coughing on me and giving me his Wu flu when he delivers.
Okay, but why do you want to stab a Chinaman?
No, I would, to get some Chinese food.
Oh, I see. Okay, it's all coming together. I get it.
So Jack just wants to get and eat the bat soup and just contract this thing already. Yeah.
No, this thing sounds awful. I don't fucking want to get anywhere near it. Besides, I've already got a sinus infection. I don't need more.
Yeah, that sucks. I hate sinus infections.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay,
I got the sinus headache too, and that's the worst.
Oh yeah, no. I get those whenever the weather changes. Oh man, yeah.
I haven't had one in like a decade, and now it's just flaring up real bad right between the eyes.
You got my sympathy. I know what those are like. That's rough, man. Shit.
But yeah, this whole thing with if Diamond collapses, I really think the industry's boned. So they need these shops open, and I think this was their idea. Was they're doing the same things Trump's doing, is just put everything in a holding pattern and hope it doesn't collapse in the meantime. Because if they can't get stuff out to the stores or it's real slipshod, those things will start getting fucked up, and then everything will be uneven. Some stores will have product, others won't, and it'll be very confusing. So they're just like, no, nobody's getting anything. We're just putting it on pause.
Oh, look at that. Pete discovered a cough into your elbow emoji. I've never even seen that before. That's crazy. I wanted to, so let's do one less fun thing before we move into some just basically fun stuff. And then pitches and we're done. Valiant comic editor exposes her stupidity about capitalism. Oh, Jesus. I love this so much. Okay, Heather Ontos. We've busted some balls on Heather Ontos for a while, and she's had it coming, and she just got promoted, as we talked about last week, to being a senior editor at Valiant Comics, because apparently they can't drive their company into the ground fast enough. So they're going to put her in charge.
Well, it all depends on whether or not you like Bloodshot's Vin Diesel direction,
Check this out. This is short but awesome. Former Marvel editor Heather Ontos, now employed by Valiant, let know what she thinks of capitalism. Oof. You guys need an editor.
Bleeding fool.
Come on, guys. Well, ranting about some problems with plane flight booking. And you can read it right here. TLDR, AIG Insurance, Expedia, and Icelander are stealing over a month's of rent and then some. No one is offering any assistance or response, period. Fuck capitalism. Fuck these companies. Even if I could afford to travel again after this, I wouldn't use them. Blue check mark. Whoa, guys.
Hey Heather, oh, you can't get the flight. You can't get the flight. Oh, the poor capitalism. Oh, you can't get the money for a flight.
Well, the situation she's describing, I am a little sympathetic with. She was planning on going on vacation, then this COVID thing happened, and they won't refund her money for the flight.
Right.
And I get that. That's
okay. That can be frustrating, and I understand that. Did it say in your contract in the fine print that they would? No.
Well, that's the thing. Did
you purchase flight cancellation insurance, which is available?
That's the thing. She did. And I read that entire tweet thread, and she got it through one of the companies, but the airline won't refund it, and Expedia won't refund it, despite having the flight insurance supposedly. So they're all pointing the finger at each other for these. But because Iceland Air is not a U.S. based company, she can't go after them.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, with her track record, I don't know if I believe that.
That's what I'm in agreement with. I don't buy her story, but if she did do that, then I'd be sympathetic.
And she's far from the only fucking one. How about all the people that were going to be going to Adepticon? You can't get their flight canceled. Can't get their hotel refunded.
She makes it sound like she's the only person this is happening to, but there's a lot of people getting screwed.
Yeah, woe betide her that she can't go and make more money doing an inanely terrible job at promoting comic books. You're bad, Heather Ontos. Retire.
Okay, so just to be clear, she claims that she did purchase the flight cancellation insurance, and that the flight cancellation insurance company, which I'm assuming is AIG, who she references here, is they themselves are saying, well, within our contract, we also cannot honor it because it's through Icelandic. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's because I think it's Iceland Air, whoever it is, has an act of God clause. And that's what they're saying this is. It's an act of God. What natural disaster.
Right.
Whatever you want to call it. We used to call it act of God clause, but I guess that's out of favor.
No, they still use those phrases. That's why you need to purchase separate flood insurance, etc., because that's considered an act of God. And I hear you.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't think she understands that is the problem, is she doesn't seem real smart.
Well,
like she's lucky she's like a 6 so that she could get wifed up and then move on with her life by being a stay-at-home soccer mom that bitches on the internet like everybody else.
I love that. You think she has kids.
No, she's a 6 so she can have kids.
No, she's a 6 so she can get simps to fucking make comic book characters about her and keep getting relevancy despite her lack of talent.
So here it is. To those people in my feed telling me that comics is a cushy job for the, quote, entitled elite, you could not be more wrong. No one pursues comics for some big paycheck. Honey, sweetie, angel pie, you got your job through, like, luck, okay?
Yes.
Like, you through how you look. You didn't pursue it because of some great love of editing. And how do I know this? Well, because you went from Marvel Comics, and when you were offered slightly more money at a different company, a esports company, you went right to it. Right now, you're an editor for their online website, and you had very little editorial experience before you even got hired at Marvel, which was in editing something else. So I mean, don't tell me this. You got into comics because, you're interested in comics particularly. You left that esports company because it became borderline defunct and then reformed itself and they didn't need you anymore. So then you went over to Valiant because they're hiring people because of a social media presence. That's what you really have going. So, Angel Pie, let's just calm yourself a little bit. Capitalism enables and enforces corporate greed. Corporate greed is why these companies are unable to refund their customers for services never rendered. It's not bad customer service if there's no customer service. It's just a plain scam at that point. Okay, capitalism, you really like owning your money personally? You like having personal property? Because, sweetie, Angel, that's what capitalism is. You're talking about corporatism. You're talking about not reading your own contract. You're talking about legalism taking over. That's not capitalism. The fact that you get to own stuff and call it yours and get angry if someone tries to take it from you. The fact that the means of production aren't owned by a tyrannical centralized government. That's capitalism, retard. Like, little girl, grow up, put your big panties on. It's fine. You don't get to go on vacation. Lots of people have been hit a hell of a lot harder than you. And going down here and watching her talk about, like, so many people in comics work multiple jobs at the same time to make ends meet, pushing 60 and 80 hours a week for very little pay, literally breaking their bodies without guaranteed health coverage. Yeah, you know what?
Their bodies, but what? Sitting around being fat?
Like, what are you talking about? Like, listen, it's not good what happened to you. I understand that. But listen, blue checkmark who talks like a 10-year-old who got robbed of Christmas. You're talking about things that lots of people are going through, and you think you're special. Oh, wait, shit. She does think she's special. Yeah, she does think
she's special. And I'll say, here's the thing. You know what this whole rhetoric reminds me of? All of those sex workers that were losing their shit about Project Melody.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like
breaking their bodies. Oh yeah. All of those people who are dying when they're taking their clothes off. Yeah. Sure.
You know who else uses phrases like that? Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah.
He does too.
So what we're saying is that Heather Antos is a professional person who's taking their clothes off for money.
I mean, I actually feel bad for some.
Quiz said that.
You know what? I'm perfectly fine with being on unlike Zach. Sorry, you boy. I'm not going to retract this one. Fuck Heather Antos. Fuck her straight to hell. I don't give a shit about what she's sitting there whining about.
Jack, remind me to add that clause into the description after the video. Okay?
Will do.
All right.
I mean, yeah, no, all my views are my own. You know what? Cool. Yeah.
I'm fine
with it. I'm fine with it. No. Seriously, fuck her. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I have problems feeling sorry for her. I understand what she's saying, and yeah, it sucks, but you have to accept that there are times where you're not going to win.
Bougie bitch sitting there complaining that she can't get her flight.
That's what I mean. Lots of people have lost their stuff. You mentioned all the people from Adepticon. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's talk about South by Southwest. Can you imagine the amount of lost money for the attendees and the presenters and? Think about all the people who work in the hotels and in the hospitality industry generally that have lost their jobs up because South by Southwest won't be happening there. And you can't go on vacation. Yeah, listen, your blue check mark does provide you with the opportunity to broadcast your woes to the entire world. But seriously, don't be surprised when people enter up in your Twitter. Number one, because you're not a very well-liked person. And number two, to make fun of you for what? People are supposed to feel extra sorry for you? Come on.
Yeah, you're sitting there saying that capitalism is bad because your bougie ass can't go on vacation. Oh, woe is you. I don't give a shit. Fuck you.
And the little
it's even worse than that because she wouldn't be able to go anywhere anyway. Everything's on fucking lockdown. I'm sure the whole island of Iceland is like, nope, no incoming.
But it kills me is the adorable little sugar plum doesn't understand the difference between fuck capitalism. Wait a minute. What do you care if you lost your money? There's no capital.
It's not your money.
Exactly. It's the people's money, right, comrade? What do you could you cast a wider net of complaint? You know what the problem is? Life. On and on
life
at this
is hard, Polly.
This petty pace. A poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage. Like, Jesus Christ.
You went for Macbeth? Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, see, that's what I mean. What's Macbeth doing in Act 5, Scene 5? He's cursing life because he's so angry. That's what she sounds like. Like she's going full melodrama with it. But,
She really is.
unlike Macbeth, she's not suffering the very, very recent and suicide of her spouse because, her with a spouse.
Don't worry. When her eggs start getting downsy, she'll marry somebody right away.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's
And then she'll
she's
turn into
fine.
another Remphamus.
I, I know girls that, like, as just a little side note, that complain about that. It's like her career is a hobby. Like they're complaining about friends that they know or friends that they really don't like very much that they know. And they're like, oh yeah, she's pursuing her career. But as soon as it gets even slightly troublesome or worrisome or finds a rich guy, yeah, her career is done. That's not a career. That's a hobby for her because she knows she's pretty enough to just, run off and leave it alone.
Yep.
It's mostly,
story.
my point is, it's women I hear saying that, not patriarchal, misogynistic men,
That's exactly what a patriarchal, misogynistic man would say, Polly.
No.
You guys want to hear a funny story?
Hmm.
So, the type of person you're describing is exactly what my cousin's wife is, and she's a yoga instructor. She's still fat, but she's a yoga instructor.
Wait,
I love how you added.
hold on.
I love how you added that part in.
Hold on.
Yeah.
How do you? Those things are pretty mutually exclusive.
You
Come
ever
on.
been to a yoga class for middle-aged women?
No.
They ain't the pretty skinny ones, buddy.
Says, I don't want to see a downward hanging gunt and downward facing dog. You know what I mean?
Right? Well, my
Jesus.
cousin makes a very large amount of money.
Okay.
Pretty nice guy, right? But his wife, I don't care for. She went on a yoga retreat to Bali and then got stuck there because of the COVID. She's quarantined for 2 weeks in Bali.
Is she going to drink the local water, try and lose some weight?
I don't know.
Oh no!
We can all
Oh no, Polly, no!
I'm sorry for everybody who's listening.
I thought of that while we were talking about this. Yes, evolved both. But I'm a dude, so it doesn't matter. I just have to get rich. So yeah, I just thought it was funny because that's the type of bougie princess we're talking about. Everything that I don't like is bad, but I will live that way despite it all. And that's how Heather comes across. Natural disasters negate vacations. It happens all the time. It sucks. I empathize with the fact that it happened to you and it sucks. But suck it up, Buttercup. Life's hard.
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't been on a vacation since 2013. So no, I don't empathize. Fuck her. Fuck her. Don't care. Hell, man, fuck her. That's probably a forward, upward mobility for her career.
Okay,
Well,
let's talk about this story that isn't even a story, but I'm okay with it because it's focused on Carrie Kelly. Best Robin ever.
God damn it. God damn it, Polly.
This is funny to me because this shows you that you can be like objective. Because I'm not have anything else to talk about because it just kind of runs down Carrie Kelly's appearance history. Like, I mean, there she is in Dark Knight Returns where she made her debut, and Frank Miller's all-time genius work, the master work of all sequential art. Yeah. And there she is in his newest one, where she's Batwoman. And then comes back in multiple Millerverse comics. She's in Dark Knight Strikes Again and so on and so forth. But then she's appeared in other ones. I mean, there's a very badly drawn picture of her. Oh my God. This story doesn't really go anywhere, but what it did lead my attention to is like the potential of the Dark Knight future universe isn't the only place that Carrie Kelly has appeared. However, Carrie has shown up in other stories, typically as another Robin of the future. And that's the point that they're making, is that like whenever they want to talk about like a future Robin, they'll draw red-haired Carrie Kelly standing there or like allude to her. And it's like, is Miller the only guy who can write her properly? I don't think so, but he's the only one willing to take it on. It's like, is Alan Davis and Chris Claremont the only ones who can write Rachel Summers properly? Well, I don't think so, but they're the only ones seeming willing to take it on. I don't get it, personally. But
Wow.
it led to something funny. The Amy Commie Girls version of the DC universe featured Carrie Kelly as Robin to a version of Barbara Gordon's Batgirl, and is actually established as Barbara's younger cousin. Okay, that's a little weird. And besides, in the Millerverse, Carrie Kelly, spoilers, does become Batgirl for complicated reasons. Yeah, Batwoman. Bruce Wayne calls her Batgirl, and then she corrects him and says Batwoman, okay? And he relents immediately, which is a unique thing for Bruce Wayne to do, and it's a big moment, and that's why you should read Dark Knight 3: The Master Race, because it's a fantastic series.
But they become X-Men?
What? I was like, what the fuck? And okay, and all the pieces came together. No, you know what? That was... It's a good name for that series once you've read it, but before you've read it, it certainly sounds rather ethno-statey. I mean, Dark Knight 3, The Master Race? Holy fuck, Frank. What are you writing in your old age? Have you gone a little mind comfy on us? It's like, no, he hasn't. Yeah. When you read it, it makes perfect sense, but...
Yeah, they just changed the name to Dark Knight Goes to Krakoa.
It's just... They're just trying to protect themselves, Jack. Jesus Christ. But... This Amy Commie Girls thing was brand new. And before we went live, I asked Jack and Quiz if they'd ever heard of it. They hadn't. Apparently it's something, weekly publication that DC puts out of digital only stuff that are like short web comics drawn like full page American comics. I don't know. I had never heard of it before. Probably because it's focused on girls. There's probably like a trial project or something for them to see if they could get girls interested to read stuff on their iPads. I don't fucking know. But
can girls read?
No, but they can look very convincing that they are.
Oh,
that was a joke. I love you, ladies. Okay, so check out this. I went looking around to see what some Amy Comic Girls thing was, and I found this image right away. Here's Diana Wonder Woman. I hate it. Is this punishment not embarrassing enough that I must also advertise myself as a whore to the nation of men?
Yeah.
What?
Well, here's the thing. DC Comics, ladies, let it be known. If you wear something skimpy out to the club, if you're on a beach and you're wearing a two-piece bathing suit or even a one-piece, it's rather revealing. Anything you're wearing that's revealing, DC Comics tells you you're advertising yourself as a whore. There it is.
I mean, to be fair, that is pretty whorish.
No, I'm more concerned with those like near the waistband, those things that curl up there. That's gonna jab right into her abdomen if she bends over at all.
Oh yeah, but I mean, people make that point about armor thongs all the time. I have no problem with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the outfit's fine, but I don't know. This just seems whiny. Seems like something like a teenage girl would whine about. So it's probably popular.
Well, that's what I mean. It seems obviously like Amy Commie Girls.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, that's where we started complaining. Like, what the fuck is with that name? Why did you
animated comic girls?
Well, yeah,
I think is what they were.
But I mean, it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. You know what I mean?
No, they didn't workshop that one very well.
I don't think they did at all. But speaking of the way that characters look and whether they're whorish or not, this is great. Have you guys seen this over on Bounding?
No.
Okay, so Snowflake and Safe Space. You know, the ones everyone's making a big deal about. We talked about them last week, and everyone's justifiably busted balls on it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I might have seen this image.
Yeah, well, don't spoil it. Okay.
No, I won't.
Artist reimagines Marvel Comics Snowflake with a, quote, traditional 90s superheroine look. How dare you? They's non-binary.
They's non-binary.
They's non-binary.
Don't you throw me in no briar patch.
Hey, okay, you're ready to see this guy's reimagining.
Yes.
Whoo.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's an improvement.
Yeah. Here's a.
Don't call her. She's obviously a they.
This is definitely a femme-oriented non-binary. I like that the details of the nipples poking through the costume that's not really there at all. I mean, talk about revealing. But you see, she's got the floating snowflake shuriken that her power has her doing,
Yeah.
and she's got the thigh high hooker
See,
boots
that
on.
character
And
looks. Yeah, she's got the thigh highs, and that character looks 1,000 times better. The boobs are way too big, but
definitely.
1,000 times better than the other one.
Nah, boobs are fine.
But I actually wouldn't have had a problem with the other costume if I could tell what gender I was looking at.
I also have a definitive answer for you, Polly. Based on the anime-inspired figures from the DC collectibles, this series is a unique take on the women of DCU. It's a world where only females have superpowers.
That's the Ami comic girls, commie girls.
That's the Ami Kami girls, yes.
Oh,
So it's girl power, rah rah rah.
yeah, no
And
shit.
what Ami Kami means is literally refers to American comics in Japanese.
I wasn't far off.
So, American comics look like a whore, and as Frosted Glass pointed out, the bikini bottom looks like a couple of fallopian tubes. She should be happy. It's very girl powery in that way. But she's from the land of the Amazon. What good would your ovaries and fallopians be there anyway?
Think about it this way too. She's in a universe where she and only other women are superheroes. What the fuck does she care about the world of men? She can dominate the world of men because she has superpowers and they don't.
Well, she cares that she's advertising herself as a whore to this nation that has men in it.
She shouldn't care. She should be dominating them like the feminist that she is, right?
Well,
because that's what they want.
And wouldn't she go on like slut walks with no pants on or something?
Yeah. Well, no, you got to remember, modern feminism has this whole sex negative thing going on too.
Oh, that's right. They keep changing all these rules.
Well, except for the intersectionalists. So remember, DC Comics, it's all girl powered here. This Ami Kami thing. Yeah, you intersectionalists going on slut walks are actually just advertising yourselves as whores. Look, it says so right here.
Yeah. Eat your own.
Yeah. And so he does, this particular artist does a teaser of what Safe Space would look like.
I love the flat top. I love the flat top.
The flat top cameo cut, and let us not ignore the hanging chain on the low slung jeans. Holy
you know what?
shit!
I still wear a chain, motherfucker.
Do you wear high tops too?
No, I wear low tops because I wear skate shoes.
Do you have a haircut like Kid and Play?
No, I have my head shaved. You've seen my head.
I know. I just wanted to give you some shit.
Oh yeah, did you hear that they're remaking Cliffhanger with a woman in the lead?
Yeah, I heard about that. It's so dumb.
Yeah, like
is that one going to be filmed 12 feet off the ground too?
Well, I've never seen the original Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone because I just figured it would be him grimacing and grunting and hanging, and someone's trying to kill him up there, and that's that.
It's not even memorable, man. And so all those action movies had some sort of like memorable dialogue, something that you can repeat, like I'll be back and hasta la vista, baby, all those kinds of things. Or what was one from Sylvester Stallone? Stella. Yeah. So you had something. Cliffhanger had nothing.
Yeah, it was a popcorn film. I didn't hate it, but once you find out that Stallone's afraid of heights and it was filmed no more than 12 feet off the ground, it does take some of the magic out.
So wait, is he going to be doing some 90s renditions of Fatty McFat Dora the Explorer?
I was watching a channel that has nothing to do with comics or anything like that on YouTube, right? The guy live streams on complete just different shit. But it was a chill stream, so random subjects, right? And somebody in chat said, have you heard about this new Warriors comic with Snowflake and Safe Space? And he's like, what? Like that saying that people use on Twitter? I don't know, whatever. And so they posted in chat, they brought it up. You know what his first comment was looking at this picture? The one right here? It said, why is her bulge bigger than his?
Why is their bulge bigger than his, Polly? Their balls.
Whew, I was like, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
That's pretty hot take there.
Yeah, but I mean, just that the guy's like completely outside of comics, has nothing to do with anything. At his first look, that's what he's like. Wait a minute.
Yeah, Frosted made a good point. Kind of messed up that the black guy has to wear a chain.
Chain on. I saw that
Well,
Frosted
and,
said that, and
yeah, and
I thought you meant like giant gold rope chain, like really bad late '80s hip hop. You
No.
meant like chain, like Joe Biden.
he ain't got
They
nothing
want to
to
put
lose
y'all
but
back in
them.
chains, chain.
Yeah, he ain't got
Yeah.
nothing to lose but them. Yeah.
Oh, Asada. Okay.
Was he sagging too?
Oh yeah, crazy. You didn't see that? Yeah, he was like that's why I
I
said
just
low
noticed
slung
that.
jeans.
I just noticed that he had his boxers above his
I mean, I
pants.
hear you clicking away over there. You could at least pretend to be paying attention. My God.
I am paying attention. I'm editing photos for my my pitch.
Oh. Well, that's permissible then, I guess. And besides, I was talking to Quiz. I thought he was playing a video game.
Oh
No,
no, I'm
it's
painting,
hey,
motherfucker.
So, okay, then you should be paying attention. God damn it!
I am. I was looking at the image.
Am I the only one that's staring at the screen, actually focusing on things? Is it?
You're the
I've
one
been
that has to.
trying to.
You're the one that has to produce, Polly.
Well, yeah. Let's call it that. Producing.
This is the worst dream ever.
I'm actually grabbing my pitch and getting. What about you, Quiz? What are you doing over there? You ready?
I'm already ready, motherfucker.
Okay, let's have you.
Ram.
Let's have you go first then, because I have to go to an external drive to grab mine. So let me broaden this screen. Focus on you. Bring up Obis. And
oh. Okay.
There you go. Shoot.
All right. My pitch is written by Amy Chu, pencils by Clay Mann, inks by Seth Mann, colors by Ulysses Areola. Looks like Areola. Cover by Clay Mann and Laura Martin. My pitch is hold on, let me get the thing here. Share screen. Entire screen. There we go. Poison Ivy, Cycle of Life and Death. This is a 6-issue miniseries. It follows Poison Ivy and a little, microcosm story of her life. Batman is like not really in the scene. He shows up like once just to ensure that she's kind of on the straight and narrow. This is her trying to start a career as a botanist in Gotham, and like brings a rare plant back and does a whole bunch of research into, namely, the thing that she wants to do is she gets the call of the ovaries. She wants to procreate, but she wants to procreate in her poison ivy sort of way, which includes a bunch of gene splicing with plants.
Oh. I
and
thought you were
there's a
going to
whole
say
bunch
with
of
pollen.
well, no, with plants.
Okay.
And there's a whole bunch of shenanigans here with Harley at the beginning, but the story is mainly about this. And there's also a B plot about a whole bunch of murder taking place that Poison Ivy is not actually responsible for. And so she's trying to clear her good name, all the while trying to perform this research. And it's like I said, a microcosm story about Poison Ivy and her trying to solve these problems and clear her good name and not get sent back to Arkham. And there you go. It's the end of the comic. You can see here. It's the first. This is her. The professor at the university who had hired her on as a research assistant, who is dead. And that's the first victim of this. And you can see right here the lividity on her body and the veins bulging and stuff like that. Everyone thinks that she's been poisoned, so it immediately goes to Poison Ivy. So yeah, overall I thought all 6 issues of this were really, really good. I met Amy Chu in person. She's a very nice person. And it was when she was doing a convention tour for this book, and it was actually a really, really fun book. I really enjoyed Cycle of Life and Death. It's in a collected So you can buy a trade paperback that has all 6 issues. But yeah, overall, I thought it was really good. This is also the first time that Poison Ivy's had a solo series, and I thought they did the character justice. I thought it was a really good story.
It's interesting art. It almost like it looks like photorealistic almost.
Mm-hmm.
It like traced. I don't really know how to make sense of what I'm seeing there. That's interesting. It's really eye-catching art though. Cool.
Yeah, the art was really really good. The Clayman did an amazing job with the artistry in it. I have to admit it was pretty good.
Huh.
Oh, I'm still screen sharing. Sorry.
Yes. So, Jack, would you like to go or shall I?
I don't care.
All right.
I can go.
All right then. Let me just. There you are, sir.
Alrighty. I'm pitching Zorro Sacrilege.
Hmm.
This is by American Mythology Productions, who I like quite a bit. They do a lot of cool stuff. And this is written by David Avalone. The art is mostly by Roy Allen Martinez with colors by Bees Studio for most of the issues. I think. I don't know. Let me double check that. Put the issue down. No, I'm sorry. It was written by Mike Wolfer, art by Alex Miralaco, and color by Bees Studio. So I got that 90% wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I am really off my game today.
It's all right.
So
COVID.
The story follows their previous miniseries, Swords of Hell, where Zorro had to fight some like random undead, and it was really weird. But American mythology has taken Zorro in these weird supernatural directions, and I kind of like it.
So didn't you pitch that one?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And this is the follow-up miniseries. What they
Nice.
did is, see, the first Zorro book is in public domain. And at the end of that book, he revealed his identity to the entire town. And they build on that. Like, he's using them as a network now.
Hmm.
So he still has his Zorro persona, but the whole town knows who he is. So only outsiders know. Like, highwaymen don't know who he is. So he poses as a brigand most of the time. It's kind of interesting. And in this one, he's gone to a Franciscan like settlement that's supposed to be converting the locals, but something weird's going on, and some supernatural stuff starts breaking out in the form of Walking Dead. And I really like this cover. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
The interior art is pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. I do like this cover too, because it's got the zombie parts in the Z.
Okay,
The little demons.
It's rough, meaning rough unfinished, or it's rough like it's a bait and a bait and
It's
switch.
amateur.
Okay,
It's very amateur.
right.
But this is a third, almost fourth tier publisher.
Right. No.
They only ever sell like 2,000 copies of each of their books, which I think is a disservice to the company because they're actually trying really hard. And this miniseries was a lot of fun. The first issue, he's in costume for like 2 pages. It's all set up, and you get a background on Zorro. So if you don't know who he is, they recap who he is over the course of 2 pages through flashback. But all these people start getting killed at this monastery, but the monastery's been up to some pretty shady stuff, using the locals as like slave labor and pimping out this one chick that lives there, stuff like that. So he's trying to sort out what's going on while the undead make their appearance. But the undead, I mean, it's alluded to in the first 2 issues. You really need to read the whole miniseries to get the gist of it. But they go into his character quite a bit, and it's really well done. It's like reading a movie script. I thought it was just a lot of fun. The art is pretty rough, like I said. Some of the buildings look good, but it's very rough digital art. So if you're real big into the art aspect, this may not be for you. But I thought the story was actually pretty solid, and I felt very entertained because it was comics the old way, where there's actually adventure to be had.
Right.
And he's doing super heroic stuff, like standing on altars and jumping over them, that sort of thing.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. I've seen way worse.
Oh yeah, it's better than some of the Marvel books. It's at least on par with Marvel's work.
Oh, this is better than Madre G.I. Joe.
Yeah, well, that's a low bar.
Well, I'm just.
But I mean,
Can you imagine what that guy's page rate was? I don't even want to talk about it. I'm going to get angry.
right? But I mean, this artist has the dynamic posing pretty well.
I mean, look at that. That's
Uh,
great. That looks fucking
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
it's just a little rigid at times,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell it's digital art. Like I think he's using 3D models, and if he gets away from that, it'll be a lot better. Because sometimes it's really good. Like this scene actually looks pretty good. He's got the perspective down. He's got the hand in front of the face. Looks pretty well, but some of the others look a little rough. Um, so you can tell this guy's probably a 3D model because that arm looks rigid, but Zorro looks fine. So I think a lot of people will be turned off by the art, but honestly, it's so much better written than a Marvel book for the same price. And it's actually a character you're kind of familiar with, and he's doing some they're trying new stuff with him, and I really like that. So I've been really enjoying American Mythology's Zorro take. So I want to push them as much as I can because I think they're trying really hard and they're not getting any respect from any of the reviewers. Nobody's giving them a shot. And it's a shame because they're writing comics like comics should be written with intrigue and some adventure and cool
Iconic
action
heroism.
scenes.
I hear you.
Yeah, heroism, chivalry. Like he doesn't take advantage of the chick they're pimping out, stuff like that. He actually has like a moral code, and it's. I thought it was just a lot of fun, and it's nice to see a series that I actually look forward to. And they've got another one that I'm about to dig into called Rise of the Old Gods, where he's fighting like some Cthulhuoid monsters.
Hmm.
That's the next one. But they're doing all this weird supernatural stuff with them. They're reprinting some older stuff too, just like Marvel's doing the facsimile editions. Uh, American Mythology's doing that with some of the older stuff. They did a Masters series, and they're doing some actual reprints of just like random issues. So that was kind of cool. So I really like that they're trying really hard, and like I said, I was enjoying the books, and I really like these covers. I think they're pretty sweet.
Yeah, the covers are fucking beautiful.
I mean, he's holding dynamite and surrounded by these demon-looking
I
things.
mean, what more do you want, right?
Yeah, it's badass. And it takes place in an interesting time period too, because the West isn't settled yet. This is like I think 1910, right around there. There's still like wagons, and he has to ride stagecoaches and shit. So it's like turn of the century era. So it's a time period you don't get to see a lot in comics. It's kind of hard to write because he doesn't have a lot of things available to him. There's no computers or anything.
Right.
So it puts him more on his own, and there's a lot more risk because he's just a guy in a kind of cheesy outfit with a sword. What's that guy gonna do? So how's he fighting off the undead? But yeah, good time. I thought it was a lot of fun. So that's my pitch.
Sweet. Well, it's funny. It's like you talk about American mythology, right? They're more survivable right now than fucking Marvel is.
I think they have a much better lineup, but their production is so low that I'm worried that they'll go under just because people don't know who they are, and that's a real shame.
Right.
Because I think they have a good editorial team that knows a decent story, and I've not been disappointed with anything I've purchased from them, as far as I can tell. The Laurel and Hardy issue that I reviewed a few days ago, the middle page came out. That was my biggest complaint about that book.
Poorly stapled or glued?
It was just cheap paper. Just wasn't stapled very well because it just came apart. But again, they reprint everything in trade paperbacks, so I'm not all that upset about it. I mean, this one's already out in trade because it's, I think, a year old.
Nice.
But yeah, I thought it was fun. You can find it in the back issue bins for like $2.70 an issue, from what I could tell. It was right around, that was the average I saw online. So you can get it for less than cover price. I had a lot of fun reading these. It's so much better than Marvel books.
Yeah.
Okay. As I go on to pitch a Marvel book. But this is 2011 Marvel, so it's different. Let me see. My pitch this week is Spider-Man Blue.
Yeah, he did.
He needed the money. The creative
You'd think
team.
it was Bobby Drake with how he turned out.
This is the creative team of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, who often work together for a whole bunch of different stuff, right? And this is
Yeah,
their take
definitely.
on Spider-Man that I had never actually read before. I read this for the first time earlier this week, and I really dug it a lot. It was originally printed as a 6-issue limited series. This is the collected edition. Okay, kind of hard to explain what this story is. It's out of time, as a lot of Sale and Loeb stuff is. It's told non-chronologically. It's
Mhm.
it's Valentine's Day, and Spider-Man is remembering Gwen Stacy, who was his girlfriend long before. Mary Jane was his girlfriend, and then ultimately his wife. He's feeling blue, hence the story title. It's a very somber comic, although there's a lot of exciting action-packed moments in it. With Green Goblin and such here. It's him, Peter Parker, reading in or talking into a tape recorder as if he's talking to Gwen Stacy. There's a very heart-tugging aspect to that. Like, he is Peter Parker of the current day, married to Mary Jane, but thinking back on Valentine's Day to the things that happened. So it retells the story of Peter Parker, period, sort of with the narrative device of Peter from the future telling the story to a tape recorder. So it's that old story told with a hell of a lot more detail. It's fantastic. It's an old school Spider-Man throwback story. It's written in the style of the time. So if you've ever read those early Spider-Man stories, it's modern sophisticated storytelling, but with the feel of those old school comics, and all based around Gwen Stacy. And there she is. And this is like his first love. And of course she ends up dying. Spoilers, but it happened decades ago. In and around, Spider-Man failed to be able to protect her when the Green Goblin attacked. It goes so well. I don't want to spoil the ending where it ends, because, I mean, obviously it ends with her death, but it ends with Mary Jane never liked the fact that there was this other woman in Peter Parker's life. This sort of ghost that she could never live up to, because Peter's obviously going to idealize Gwen Stacy, the woman that died, right? And this story works that out. What is Mary Jane's thoughts on Peter still being hung up on this girl that died so long ago? It ends up working through that and dealing with it and so on. And because Mary Jane does know him at this time, and there's old school Flash Thompson, what a jock actually looks like, as opposed to Safe Space over there. But
No, Safe Space is your typical jock.
but all of the original villains from that time that were there, Rhino, Kraven the Hunter, Green Goblin, they all make their appearances because they did at that time. I really dig the art style. It's straightforward. It's classic Loeb and Sale storytelling. I highly recommend it. It's a great read. Oh yeah, there's Doc Connors, the Lizard. By all means, check it out. It's a fun read, but a heart-tugging one at the same time. Writers that are able to make you feel things. Weird, I know, but it's
I
possible.
don't like that.
First I gotta say is that the art looks a lot like Long Halloween.
Oh, of
and
course.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, same creative team, right? Yeah, no,
Yep.
absolutely.
Also, I gotta pick your brain, Polly. Is that not what you just pitched? Exactly what I'm talking about with every single time we bring up Gwen Stacy and the Spider Gwen and the Gwen pool.
If she
Isn't
was meant to die, she should stay dead. What's the point
isn't
otherwise?
well, isn't this a perfect example about why it's a good story decision for her to be dead?
Oh yeah. No, I agree. I don't, but I'm not, I mean, we don't want to like Gwen Stacy from Earth 616. Yes, absolutely. She can't be resurrected. I find it an interesting writer's take to be there's only one Gwen from this other universe, and this sad, lonely person who ends up developing spider powers finds out she's the only Gwen left, because in every other alternate reality, Gwen Stacy's seem to be doomed to die. Wait, whoa, hold on. This is interesting. And what do they do with it? They turn it into Mean Girls, the comic, because it's just her dealing with the bitches she knows in high school.
Well, isn't it also a kind of slap in the face to a story like this? The fact that, like, I can understand the whole out of time and the whole multiverse aspect, blah 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 blah. But wouldn't she want to do everything in her power to remain in complete isolation away from Peter? Because how would that fuck him up meeting her and she's alive, but she's not from the same universe, sort of thing. That would be devastating for Peter.
Oh, it would be, and that's why when you read Ghost Spider and Peter's interactions with her, it reads just, oh, what the fuck? Like it was like she was some kind of like barely there side bitch for him or something.
It's insulting
Because he's like, he's willing to help her out, and he's like talking to her, and he's like, hey, what's up? And he even gives her like fist pounds, and it's like, no, that would rip his heart rate out of his chest to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I mean, that's things like seeing something like that, which is a good pitch. I kind of want to read this book now, Polly. I really, really want to read it now.
Yeah, I never read that one. Didn't think it looked that good.
They did a number of issues along this way.
We know your prejudice against Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale.
Tried to steal Captain America. Fuck
it was odd. They did a number of, like, Loeb and Sale did a number of issues for Marvel like that, because once Long Halloween had come out and it was as successful as it was, and their look and their style, right, like, struck a chord and sold very well. So it's like Marvel hires them, and they did this because they're weird like that. They want to go with a theme. And I mean weird in like a good way, like interesting, different. The Long Halloween was very holiday oriented, right? As it went through the full year, you remember, like the different, the different months of the year and stuff. When they went over to,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, when they went over to Marvel, they did it with colors. So it's Spider-Man blue, Daredevil yellow, because that's the original color of his costume, Lane, and it's fucking great. It's totally worth a read.
Well, it's a good thing they didn't do that years later, because Captain America White with Sam Wilson probably would have been racist.
Well, I trolled some people on Discord with that kind of joke. I took the cover of Captain America White, and I'm like, here's Marvel's new response after firing Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah. Captain America Snow Beast.
And nobody believed it. They're like, fuck off, you photoshopped that. I'm like, god damn.
Yeah, they'll never fire Ta-Nehisi Coates. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because
they'll let that book sail right into the ground.
I mean,
that fails straight up the ladder.
The only thing they might do is hire Osa Jeffo to come in and do some split pieces while Ta-Nehisi Coates is down at Congress arguing that, COVID-19, African Americans most affected or something, But
yeah, well, I could see Ta-Nehisi getting the new editor-in-chief position in the future. And then it'll just be like, fuck Whitey in every title.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't read Captain America lately, it's Captain America black as fuck.
You can tell Ta-Nehisi has never left the city, because that new issue of Captain America, he has them out working on a farm, and Sam has to use a image disguise to look like he's white, because nobody believed that a black man's working on a farm for free. He actually says that. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I know. It's just.
When was the last time you were out in the countryside there, Ta-Nehisi? Nobody gives a shit anymore.
I mean, I used to think Ta-Nehisi Coates had a massive chip on his shoulder, but he doesn't. It's just his stock and trade to be that guy. I don't buy his shtick anymore as being authentic. Like, America's always bad. Racism is everywhere. Black people are eternal victims. Whitey's so fucking angry. Blah blah blah. Like, it's the same 4 or 5 themes that whether he's testifying before Congress about the need for reparations, or whether he's writing Captain America, or whether he's writing his individual trash pieces that are picked up in the Atlantic and so forth. It's the same shtick over and over again. It's like a bad nightclub comic that only has 3 bits to tell, and he just goes around the United States at different small cabarets telling the same jokes over and over again.
I agree that he's probably a race hustler, but I think he does hate white people.
And after this many times of repeating it, even if he didn't, he does now through sheer repetition, in the sense of the way that classical brainwashing works,
Yeah.
He's convinced himself of it operantly.
It comes through in his writing. I mean, you read Captain America, you can tell he just doesn't really seem to understand the character or like him very much.
No, especially because you're right. I completely agree, because it comes out with Steve Rogers is constantly deriding America, the American system, American history, the American military, you name it. He just uses Captain America, well, Steve Rogers, as a mouthpiece for him to bark his hatred for America, which, like I said, I really think it's a hustler's shtick at this point, because people expect it of him. But anyway, that's there's our pitches. So it was Zorro. What was the title? Zorro
Sacrilege.
Sacrilege. I was Spider-Man Blue, and Quiz was Poison Ivy.
Cycle of Life and Death.
Cycle of Life and Death. So there they are. I've been thinking of cutting out the clips of us doing pitches and then putting them up as separate videos, because people are like, I don't want to hear these guys ramble about their bullshit. I just want the pitches. Some people have actually told me that.
I love hearing that. That's a good thing for me. Yeah. And I
that's a good thing that people don't want to hear me ramble about bullshit.
Well, no, there's something like I think it was James Collier or Functional said, yeah, we got quiz rage. But no, I like that idea, because that definitely is something that we've done for this whole thing, that we've been trying to set ourselves apart from other people and bring a little bit more positivity in the discussion of comics. And I think that's the way that we're doing it. And I like hearing that we're having that sort of impact.
No, that thing, I definitely hear that from people. And my favorite thing is when people will tweet. It doesn't happen very often, because it's like, I don't know, people will go buy the comics that we suggest, or will go read them wherever they do. But I don't think as many people who do that tell us about it. And I love hearing about that. I went and bought this because of that, and it was like, oh shit, that's fucking awesome. What did you think? Tell me about it. Like, I want to hear your impressions, that sort of shit.
If you like the pitches, you'll love my channel, where that's all I do is review comic books over on Bad Comic Reviews.
All the protein, none of the fat. All right, guys.
I'm pretty lazy.
So there it is, another episode. So in your quarantine, take the time to read some comics, maybe even the ones that we pitched today. If not, hit us up on Twitter. We'll suggest other things, or hit me up if you want to go back. If you want me to go back and cut out some of those things, I think I'm going to start doing that now. I don't know if there's any demand for me to go back and do all of the previous weeks. Maybe.
Yeah, just start doing it now.
Yeah.
Find out later.
Fair enough. And so there it is, guys. Thank you, chat, for being here. Thank you for keeping us company. You know what I'm going to do is screen freeze one time what it's like to try and type on my potato in chat while I'm like, it's like I'll type in the and I'll see T H E, like that fucking speed, because the system's running at like 100% CPU usage. So I don't talk as much as I'd like to be able to, but I'm getting so very close to buying my super potato.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of potatoes, remember, apples are just ground potatoes.
Thanks for the donation to Okie. Sorry I didn't get to him right away. I'm a little off my game today.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, and we will see you again soon, I'm sure. Check us out on Twitter, because we're always on there doing stuff, especially Jack. Yeah, Jack's more active than any of us, isn't he?
Yeah.
I like to poke at the bears.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, shit. One more thing.
The
video I did with Sinatra. Even though it took me forever to get him the edited version, and I totally screwed up his schedule for the week, I'm understanding that it's coming out tomorrow, but since I only got him the edited portion late last night, it might be later. But check it out. It'll be over on his channel, and it's great fun, and you get to hear Sinatra squirm from all of the cringe that I make him sit through. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Laters all.
Thanks, everybody.